Oh, hello folks. This is Steve AB4L. Nothing in this episode is a promotion nor is it a recommendation. This is sort of a YouTube is the problem, but it's actually maybe Google is the problem. But I'm using YouTube is the problem. So I'm logged in to my YouTube account, and you see here it says subscriptions. And I got a lot of them. I can't figure out the order that they're listed in. It doesn't seem to be alphabetical, and it doesn't seem to be the order in which I subscribe to them. So if you want to find a particular one, you have to really scroll through this entire long list. And I want to talk about a particular one that I subscribed to just a few hours ago. Let's see if I can, oh, there it is. Tips for IT. So you click on it and it takes it to the home page of that channel. I just subscribed to this a couple hours ago. I actually saw it a couple of days ago by accident. Given what the title was, I watched it and I was absolutely amazed. It was this one here. Forgot your Windows 11 password? See, 4 days ago, 62 views. He's only got 3 videos, 4 days ago, 2 days ago, 17 hours ago. So that might explain why he has a low number of views. But I think people are subscribed because it's like 17 hours ago, 25 views, and he's only put his first video up 4 days ago. That's not bad. When you click on this part, you find out that the channel was created in July of 2021. So maybe that's when he subscribed. And it might have had a different name, except the handle, the YouTube channel handle, is Tips for IT, TIPSFORIT, which spells out the number 4. And that's usually an indication of 2 things. The channel had already been there for quite some time before YouTube introduced handles, and it's really unique, as opposed to being John Smith. My channel's name is John Smith. Well, they make a handle John Smith, then they have to add some hash to it to keep it unique. Now, I'm going over this for a reason. You see the handle? So let me start another browser. This is there's a Google tab, and let's go to YouTube Home. There's the YouTube Home page, okay? I'm not logged in on this browser, and what I do is, if you paste the YouTube channel handle with the @ sign, into the search on, I don't know what's going on down here. It should be able to find it. Now it shows you these other bullshit things here, but the actual first return is correct. Now why would they do this? Which has nothing to do with him. Because he's only got 3 videos and he's got no viewer background, so they have no algorithm about him. They don't know what his videos are about, so they can't show you other videos that are similar. You follow what I'm saying? Try it out. Put a very popular channel you look at into the search and then see what they offer you. You'll get a feeling for what I'm talking about. So they don't know anything about him. But they did know, correctly identify him, and if you were to click there, you get to the home page. But let's go to Google search. Now we're going to Google search. If you go to Google search and you put in the handle for my channel, at SteveAB4EL, at SteveAB4EL, the first listing will be SteveAB4EL, and then it'll show you a possible video, and all right? But let's put in that other guy's handle, the channel that has been there since 2021 but only has 3 videos in this last 4 days. They don't know anything about him. They haven't been able to spy on him. They haven't been able to build a dossier about the channel. Not about what the channel does, not about what people who watch the channel do, what kind of people, what other things they watch, and watch your channel too. You think I'm exaggerating? At Tips for IT likely refers to social media handles or content creators providing advice for IT professionals. Well, you can figure that out just from the words. This is as kindergarten as you can get. Like, now watch what they do. IT tips for IT pros on Facebook. Offering tech help for daily challenges in cloud environments and addressing common technical questions, focusing on the da-da-da-da. And they got it from whatever this is. So here's the IT overview. Now remember, this IT overview has become the large language model to guide you about anything that you might look up on Google at the expense of actually just sending you to likely links, which those websites now are not getting traffic. There's something called Tips for IT Pros on Facebook. You see the guy's face? Now we're into the actual search results after the end of the IT overview. And it says tips for IT pros. It says Comcast Business, 10 productivity tips for IT professionals. Facebook, tips for IT pros. We looked at it. Remember the face. TikTok, essential IT tips for every TikTok, nobody tips for it. At tips for it is a handle on TikTok. And it doesn't have anything else that it can direct you to. There's no second page of things or anything. It's that stupid. The large language model behind Google search is, for that phrase, at tips for IT, is like this. It's nothing. And the only YouTube channel that it knows about that seems to be at all similar is this Tips for IT Pros. And there the guy is, the one we saw on Facebook. And his handle is at Tips for IT Pros. And this much is the same as this. On the channel I'm actually talking about. Except that it also has PROS. They know all about him. He's got 229 videos. He doesn't have that many subscribers. 3.6 thousand, okay. He's got links on Twitter, Facebook. We saw the Facebook. That's how you say the channel. YouTube.com/at Tips for IT Pros. He's in the UK, and he started in 2007. He started around the time I started, too. And that's the only thing they could come up with. Now, why am I going on about this? Why don't they know about this other guy who just started putting videos up? If I copy just this much, and I put it in up here, it's treated as a search. But if I say thank you, YouTube / at Tips for IT, not IT Pros. Oh, it's got a double. Excuse me. Did I make a mistake? Oh, excuse me. I'm the idiot here. Let's try again. Let's take out the double. It should go to the channel, and it does. It isn't that it can't find it. It isn't that it can't look it up. It's just the search engine doesn't know anything about it and goes off and acts like an asshole. So people adding new channels where they only have a couple of videos are on the very lowest priority for web scraping. Is that a new word for you, web scraping? Web scraping. Top 10 web scraping tools. AI-powered web scraping. Scrape any site instantly. Scrape any website in 2 clicks. I will web scrape, data scrape, and email scrapings to any website. Web scraping is the automated process of extracting data and content from websites using bots or scripts to parse a site's HTML code, show page source. There's the HTML code for this page. Your computer knows how to put it into human readable form. Using bots or scripts to parse the site's HTML code and structure for information. Structure means if there are links inside to other pages within the website, it'll also go and branch out to those too. Like prices, reviews, articles in a usable format like a spreadsheet or database for purposes such as market research, price comparison, data analysis, or finding a YouTube channel. Offering suggestions about YouTube channels that are close to what you were after, which it failed. The page was this long, it only had 3 search results. When it came to that search, it was an asshole. Google was an asshole. AI Overview was an asshole. That's the correct word. It works by requesting a web page, analyzing its underlying code, remember I just showed it to you, extracting specific data points, saving them, differing from simple copy-paste by handling vast amounts of data in a complex site. Google knows what's out there because it keeps going to websites all day long, all year long, all over the world. More popular websites that might be changing, it visits more often every single day, maybe every hour, sometimes even more frequently than that, like news sites. Others are prioritized as don't seem to change in the last 3 years, so we don't scrape it more than once a year. So what does it take for a new channel on YouTube to be recognized by the Google search engine? They're too busy making money to actually pay attention to another entity under Alphabet. I'm editorializing. /. News for nerds. Get rid of the junk. Google sues SERP API, that's some other entity, over scraping and reselling search data. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer you an insight as to why Google didn't know about that new YouTube channel that's been there for several years but had no videos and therefore no traffic. But even though it has now started to post videos, I'm going to show you why it has the last possible priority to be discovered eventually. In the meantime, it will hand out misleading URL to a similarly named handle YouTube channel that has been around forever, even though it's not a particularly popular channel, like some are. I mean, some channels have millions of subscribers, right? And that one only had less than 4,000 that they handed out. Now let's look at this. Google said today blog.google/technology/safety-security-SERP API-lawsuit. Why we're taking legal action against SERP API's unlawful scraping. Written by Halima Delane Pardo, General Counsel. That's a lawyer. She's the general counsel. She is general counsel at Google, leading the company's world-class legal team, advising on some of the most complex and important legal issues of the digital age. Prior to joining Google, Halima practiced media law and product liability law and obtained her JD, Juris Doctoris, law degree, it's Latin. You know, MD, JD, from Georgetown University, Virginia, and her undergraduate degree from Yale, Hartford, Connecticut. Connecticut, not Hartford. Is she known? If we do a search on her, there's her LinkedIn page. Yeah, there she is. Georgetown University Law Center, Google. And it's exactly the same wording here. This is the first time I'm looking at it, as it is here. So she wrote it herself, because it's on her LinkedIn page. So here's what she's got to say. Now, this apparently is the Google web. We filed a suit today there's the legal documents. Complaint for number 1, circumvention of technology measures, and it gives a U.S. code law, and trafficking in technology designed for circumvention of technological measures, another aspect of apparently federal law. I don't know anything about it. Google LLC, a Delaware limited liability company. Delaware has made a fortune by being the home for millions of companies because of its relaxed incorporation laws. Versus Serpa API LLC, a Texas corporation, the defendant. So Google is the plaintiff and Serpa API is the defendant. We filed a suit today against the scraping company, which is what essentially Google does. SERP API for circumventing security measures, protecting others, plural with a possessive, copyrighted content that appears in Google search results. What does that mean? What does that sentence mean? I think what it means is they don't bother going around to everybody's website. They just scrape it right off of asking Google. I think that's what it means. Remember, I'm not a lawyer. She is. I'm not. We did this to ask a court to stop SERP API's bots, not Google's bots, somebody else's bots, and their malicious scraping, that's a characterization, which violates the choices of websites and rights holders about who should have access to their content. Now, I'm going to guess at what that means. Supposedly, you can put, once again we're going to go look at page source. Here's the page source for the page we're looking at now. You notice it looks different than the other one. In here, it's possible to have something in a defined place that says stay out, not for indexing, private, okay? And they're relying on web scrapers to respect that, some of which do and some of which don't. Web data extraction, data scraping, web harvesting, data extraction, content harvesting, data mining. The original phrase was web crawling. Is web scraping different from web crawling? Yes, web scraping and web crawling are different, though often used together. Crawling is about discovering and finding URLs, universal, these are the addresses, links, finding URLs across the web, like search engines, while scraping is about extracting specific data, like prices and reviews, from those discovered pages, using a bot to parse content like HTML and store it in a structured format. Crawling, web crawling, finds the pages, scraping pulls the valuable information out, and often you crawl first to get links and then scrape the data from those links. Now, the reason why I did this is I believe the distinction they're trying to make in the lawsuit is that this other place is not bothering to do any web crawling. They let Google, which spends a huge fortune and uses a huge infrastructure. Remember I said sometimes they go back to the same site like 10 times an hour? If it's rapid, like New York Post. They put so many new articles up every hour, they've got to go back every minute, literally, to find what's changed, index it, and categorize it. I'm talking about Google. Web crawling. They have to analyze what they think it is and categorize it. But they don't capture the whole thing. They summarize it, categorize it. But apparently, I'm guessing now, I think so, scraping in this case is they don't bother with web crawling. They just go directly to Google and get as much directly from them, or use Google to summarize the best candidates for certain kinds of information, then go to that website and scrape the specific data, the content, and sell it. Now let's pick on something that doesn't exist anymore. If you got Sears and Roebuck and you've got a website and you're showing, or Walmart or whatever, and you're showing what you have and the prices and what stores are available in, you're going to an expense to do that for the convenience of the public, and you presume a human's reading that. What if somebody wants to go and gather all of that, summarize it, and sell it to somebody who wants to know how to adjust the prices dynamically in their online catalog so they can get the best price by being 2 cents cheaper and get categorized on Amazon above you by just putting a price that's 2 cents cheaper. And they need to be able to do that every hour so they can stay on the top of the pile and get the business. I'm just thinking of possible examples. You don't want Google, you want this other one. And it's specialized work. You just want the price feed. You don't want to have to do it yourself. You pay for that. I'm guessing. So, we did this to ask the court to stop SERP API's bots and their malicious scraping, which violates the choices of websites and rights holders about who should have access to their content. That's why I went down that other path. Now remember, I'm an idiot running my mouth. I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. This lawsuit follows legal action that other websites have taken against SERP API. New York Times. Reddit accuses data scraper companies of stealing its information. Okay, there's an example. And Reddit's got nothing to do with Google. They're not the same company. They have a relationship now, but that's something else. Follows legal action that other websites have taken against SERP API and similar scraping companies, and is part of our long track record of affirmative litigation to fight scammers and bad actors on the web. Google follows industry standard crawling protocols. Now do you understand what? I haven't read this. Yes, I was ahead of that, so that now when we come to that part of the legal, the presentation of their legal position, you'll understand why she's using that word. Industry standard crawling protocols and honors websites' directives. I said you can have something in your website, the page source, that says, don't crawl here. That's what they're talking about. Honors websites' directives over crawling their content. Stealthy scrapers, like SERP API, override those directives and give the sites no choice at all. They scrape everything. SERP API uses shady backdoors like cloaking themselves. What does that mean? When Google web crawling connects to your web page, you could have an automated process that's looking at who the connection is. And when it retrieves, and there's ways of looking things up, who that is by way of the IP number, it will tell you that it's Google. But what if it says, I'm Humpty Dumpty, but they're really SERP API? Now, why would that be important? Oh! You connect to me, to web crawl or web scrape me. I do a lookup in a thousandth of a second on that connection, and I see you're not who I want to come here, and I break the connection. Yes, you can do that. It's like you can hang up your phone. I'm explaining it. So what I do is I don't give my true identity. I try to make myself look like I'm somebody that's your typical visitor that you would welcome. But I'm not. I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. Gee, an idiom like that goes back thousands of years still applies today? SERP API uses shady backdoors like cloaking themselves or bombarding websites with massive networks of bots and giving their crawlers fake and constantly changing names. I just anticipated everything you said. Circumventing our security measures to take our security measures, now they're talking about Google, to take websites' content wholesale. Circumventing our security measures to take websites' content. They're complaining about SERP API scraping Google. This unlawful activity has increased dynamically over the past year. SERP API deceptively takes content that Google licenses from others, like images that appear in knowledge panels, real-time data in search features, and much more, like AI Overview, and then resells it for a fee. I said that before, and I told you, I gave you an example of who might be doing it. Not a specific person, but an example of why somebody might want that data in real time. Are there some brick and mortar retail stores that are dynamically shelf pricing? Do you understand that? You go in to Walmart, and they've got a new system, let's say, where the prices are not the old plastic stickers, but there's a little digital thing there, and when you pick up the item, it beeps, and there's a little tag inside of the item, and it sets the price. Yes, several brick-and-mortar retail stores are using electronic shelf labels, ESLs, which enable dynamic pricing. While some retailers state that they are using the technology primarily for efficiency, meaning that the supply chain is so dynamic in terms of what they pay. You know, it's like, why does the gasoline price keep changing at the pump? They're looking at what the next tanker will cost them that will arrive literally in 10 hours. And they may want to change their price in order to get enough money from you now to be able to pay for that to be put in the tanks to keep feeding you. I'll give you just an ordinary example that while some retailers state that they are using the technology primarily for efficiency, it does provide the infrastructure for prices to change rapidly based on various factors like demand, inventory levels, competitor pricing, and even weather. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know this. What a good guess I made. Walmart plans to roll out electronic shelf labels to 2,300 stores by 2026, primarily to improve efficiency and inventory management. They need to do something like that, definitely in the Walmart store down there. You look at the shelf thing and you get to the front and it's $1 different because the sticker is literally a year out of date. I'm not exaggerating. Primarily to improve efficiency and inventory management, allowing employees to update prices in minutes rather than days. And they say Kroger has been using it already and going to expand it. Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh uses dynamic pricing in its physical locations. Okay, Target, Best Boy, Michaels. Now, how did I get so far off the track of what I started with? When I asked Google search, when I asked YouTube search, the search on a YouTube page for this handle, it correctly brought me to it as the first item. It didn't have any videos from it yet, but I can understand. But it brought me correctly to the person's channel page. But when I asked Google search, it was completely dumb, stupid, and misleading. And those words are not too strong for what it did. Now, I'm going to try an experiment. I didn't plan on this. What's another big search engine that thinks it's a big deal? Bing. Let's try Bing. Same stupidity. Exactly. But it says there's about 28 million results. Spiceworks Community, IT On Demand, Computer Hope, TechSpot, HDI, Workaday, blah, 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 blah. Okay, their excuse is, and they got the same guy. Their excuse would be, well, we're not YouTube, we're Microsoft. Now let me try something. Let me try my handle at Bing. Bingo, it knows about me. There it is. There I am. There I am. And it's got some of my latest ones. I just did gasoline and fiber digging today. 2 days ago, excuse me. Okay? I am now auto-dubbing. Then it gets off the track, and there's the stuff about the waterline project, pipeline. I did that as a contrast. But I've been around for a while. So Bing is just as stupid as Google, and probably for the same reason. If you're new and nobody knows who you are, why the hell would we be even trying to web scrape you? We might accidentally trip over you sometime in the next 2 or 3 years, and we'll remember you then. Okay? You'll pardon me for going on and on, but look. This is all has to do with where they think the money is. That's what they're competing on. They're competing to make money. What I'll say is the one thing that Microsoft Bing doesn't seem to have, at least in this case, is AI overview. So let me ask them, this question. Is web scraping different from web crawling? Here's Bing. This is the last one. Aha! I was wrong. Bing's got Copilot Search, and for those things that it thinks are worth composing, something using the large language model, this one is. Because it's more likely to come up as an actual question, and there's a financial advantage to Bing to give you I'm going to put it in quotes, AI overview, Copilot overview, rather than showing you the web results directly, like Geeks for Geeks, Apollo Technical, Balding. These are sites you're probably never going to go to in your life. But they can send you to a YouTube video, web scraping versus web crawling explained. Let's see who that is.
Organizations all over the world, from banks to breweries, are creating custom
and
apps
you get to see an ad.
on the OutSystems platform, because OutSystems is
you get
all
to
about
see an ad.
helping teams deploy quickly.
You get to see an ad.
Build your agentic future with OutSystems.
Whoever that is.
Web scraping versus...
So let's see who this guy is. Key moments in this video. This guy must be a big dude. He's Decodo, formerly Smart Proxy. This was published August 27, 2024. He's got advertising right there. He's got related... But who's presenting this to me? It's Bing. This is how Bing... Did you see what they did? They're playing the YouTube... I'm learning new things as I go. Do you see why I do this? I thought they were going to actually send me to the YouTube channel, or YouTube, but what they're doing is they're playing the video within Bing. And by doing that, they know this guy has chapters, so they present them. It's had about 8,000 views. And then they have bidders for direct advertising to be right the next thing. That's how these things show up, folks. There are bots that do bidding because they keep getting presented. Bing is constantly showing them opportunities, and the bot is listening to the opportunities flow by. Think back about what that other API is about that they're suing. And when they see one that I want an ad there, they may click and come to me. I'll pay 2 cents. Bingo, there it is. You say 2 cents? Remember, it's computers doing it. 2 cents add up if it's 1 trillion times. There are 1 billion web users in the world every day. Okay? You have to think of scale. You have to know how to multiply the right way. So this all started with me discovering a few days ago this channel because I stumbled upon this video.
Hey everyone, have you forgotten your Windows 11 password? Are you stuck on the
It sounds like a computer voice to me, so we're not going to hear the real guy. But I was extremely impressed with what the details that he presented on how to do it. I haven't looked at the other 2 videos yet. I'm going to I am going to play them and then continue to form up my judgment about what he's presenting. And that first one, I'm planning this week when I have a chance to actually go through the steps. It should be very interesting. They were very atypical. It's a very atypical type of advice. Not your usual video in this area. I'm not promoting anything. I'm telling you my motivation of what was the launch pad. And when I noticed that when I put I remembered I wanted to go back and subscribe. I kind of remembered the handle. I put it in Google search. It gave me bullshit. And then when I tried it in YouTube, at first it didn't get it right, but now it does. We're only talking about a 4-day span of active videos. That's right. If you've never posted a video, YouTube doesn't give a shit about you other than you better let it show the ads. Steve A. before y'all. Just having fun. Thinking out loud. Letting his mind wander. Little bit of ranting. Because, you know, Google and YouTube are the problem. Saying see you at 73.